Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Community Spotlight. Today we're going to talk to Marsha Baker, all the way from St. Louis. Hey, Marsha.
Hey, how are you? How is everybody out there?
Cool. All right, comment. Let us know if you can hear us and see us okay, because that would be great to know. We want to make sure that you're not having to read lips. We're visual people, but we don't want to make you have to read lips. So we're talking to Marsha Baker. She is with BlessInks, or BlessInks is your blog, right?
Right. It's actually BlessInks.com.
BlessInks.
BlessInks.com.
Okay.
.com. Right.
Okay, .com. Sweet. And Marsha's been a very active member of our group for some time now, especially when people ask for notes on how to get started or how to do specific things. She's got a wealth of information on that, and I'm sure she's going to share all of that. But I want to get to know Marsha. So, yeah, tell me a little bit about you and how you got into sermon sketchnoting and sketchnoting in general.
You bet. Oh, thanks for that. And I'm very excited to be here. So for making the time for this. So I have been a doodler all my life. And even though I went down the business route for my career, I've just never stopped doodling. And, I used to do Christmas cards. Like, people used to send me stamps, so they stay on my Christmas card list. And I just realized, I don't know, maybe 2010, I was looking back at my sketch notes, and I think my earliest one is like 2010. And I've taken sermon notes, and then I realized that I didn't have a lot of confidence. And so I was doing it in pencil in case I messed up. And then I was mostly just doodling on the, I think here's an early one. Actually, I've actually got some images. Can you see it? Just a second. Like there you go.
Yes.
So just, a lot of doodles here on the side, right? So there's not, instead of a lot of pictures. But I really found that I was paying attention more, because we all know that doodling kind of helps focus your total energy on what you're hearing, instead of wandering, going, gee, did I turn the dryer on, or what am I having for lunch, after church, that kind of thing. So it really helped me focus. And the other thing is, I love Bible study. I love being in the Word, but it was so hard for me. It was just not something that we grew up with. It's not something we didn't have a Bible in our house when I grew up. And so I'm just not used to being in the Word, but every time I get in the Word, I just really loved it. And, but it just so I would try to journal, I'd try and write, and then I just remember one day the pastor's wife was, oh, I have to go get another journal. It's my fourth one this year. And I'm thinking, oh, I hope my computer does not restart, because it's going to restart now. I'm going to be so unhappy if it messes us up. So sorry about that, but I don't think I can turn it off. We'll see what it does. Oh, I'm so sorry. Anyway, back to my story. So I was like, what is wrong with me? I am a grown woman. I should be able to, journal. I should be able to get in the Bible, and do my journaling. But then I realized that, what? I'm not a verbal person. I'm a visual person. And so when I started just illustrating verses and then just writing a little comment, so, draw first, write second, kind of things really exploded for me. I started going deep, and I just got excited about being in the Word, and that just really just kind of opened up my world. And then I realized that maybe other people needed that little impetus, that it's okay to draw, and you don't have to journal like everybody else does. If you're not a person that likes to write, and I don't care to write, then hey, maybe writing and drawing might be the way that you connect, and maybe the way that you worship. And it totally worked for me. And so that's what I do. I do a lot of workshops around women's conferences and homeschool conferences to try and just say, there's an artist in everybody. You don't have to be Picasso or, Rembrandt. It's just little simple images. So you know what that is. You're going to go back to that sketchnoting, and you're going to just totally understand what you drew, and you're going to remember and connect with it. And so that's sort of my mission, is to help people visually connect with God. In fact, my tagline on my business is drawing people to Christ. So
I
that's
like that.
so that's what I do, and I just do it in a variety of ways. So I just try and help people understand that you can just take really simple little, a circle and a square and a triangle, and you get a dog, and so it's so simple. But you also have to be a little prepared, and so that's my other message is, keep a little sketchbook with you, and you see something, if we practice a little ahead of time, it's going to be a lot easier than if you're just like, oh my gosh, I have no idea how to draw that, and Mike Rohde, just love him, absolutely. Actually got to go to one of his workshops in Nashville last year, so that was really
Teddy
awesome.
met
But
you.
yeah, I was just like, that was an awesome experience. If you ever get a chance to go to one of his workshops, they're totally, totally worth it. But, one of his techniques is, just draw it in pencil. So I try and do that. But the more that you've practiced, because it just, looking back over, it's just amazing the number of themes, the number of times I draw a world or I draw a light, those things come in to the sermon sketchnoting or Bible studying so much. So I just thought, if you just start practicing, images that come to mind, you just got more mental, you're expanding your visual vocabulary to just be at the ready next time something comes up, and you'll just be more flexible. And so I encourage people to practice and just start with really, really simple little, little box with, 4 legs and a little circle, and you've got a cow. But it's a cow, and it's okay because you're not going to enter it in an art contest, and it's okay, but that's a cow. So that's kind of where I am and what I do, and I just this is just where I'm supposed to be. It's my mission. I just trying to help people just be visual, and I'm just very fascinated with the concept of visual learning and how to be more visual. I'm actually a teacher, and I'm actually very visual in the classroom. I do a lot of drawing on the board, and I know that those times when I draw, my students connect with the material much better than if I'm just talking at them. So that's kind of where I'm going. So
Well, I want to jump in here and just say hello to Monica, who's tuned in live.
Hey, Monica.
And she loves your sermon sketch notes. We're talking to one of your followers. That's awesome.
Oh, great. Well, thank you, Monica. I appreciate that so much. Appreciate that. So
I do want to talk a little bit about, one thing that strikes me is your story is very similar to Shannon Noel with Bible journaling, how she got into Bible journaling because she was trying to get into her Bible and needed a way to connect more with it. And so I think that's awesome that that never say die attitude. That's like, okay, I'll just come at it from a different angle and I evaluate myself more. And like, well, how do I learn, period, instead of people like, oh, it's the Bible, I need to approach it in this way, instead of, no, it's information and goodness.
That's right. I mean, the Lord is going to have a word for you, and just getting in the Bible, however you get in there, He's going to give you that word, whether it's writing or drawing, it doesn't matter. It's just taking the time to just be closer to Him. And I just think spending the time in the Bible is the best way to get there, to get closer to Him. So that's so anything works. So I find Bible journaling is really frustrating because just those 2-inch margins is just not enough room for me. I've tried it and I need more room. So I
will tell you, I've got an interleaved Bible. Mine's is out of my car right now, but every other page is blank.
Oh, cool.
So you've got a full page.
Oh, I may have to go look at that. What it's called, an interleaf?
Interleaved.
Interleaved. Okay.
Yeah. Leave.
Okay.
So the leaved part, like a tree leaf.
Okay. Well, I might have to go get one of those. I could do that. I could do a whole page. Oh, that'd be great.
So when you said after your workshop with Mike Rohde, you decided to kind of give the pencils a break and go straight to ink?
No, actually, I'd been doing ink before, and actually, this book had actually been out before Mike Rohde. It was just great to kind of affirm things that I've been doing and learn a few new techniques of things that I was struggling with. So no, probably around 2012, I started going, oh, I can do ink. I can do ink, you know. Um, I am very analog at this moment. I'm very pencils and ink and pens kind of girl, rather than using the iPad. I have an iPad. I just can't quite get there for taking sketch notes. And I just am amazed with some of I forget her name, the Bible Doodle girl,
Yeah, and she just posted a link for us to
Yeah.
that interleaved edition of the Bible.
Yeah. Okay, great. But
So
I'm just amazed at what she can do, but I'm just not quite there yet. I'm still very analog, and I just like pencils and like my current.
okay, yeah, all right. I was like, you can't just say I like pencils. Like you're talking to a bunch of people that like doing this. You got to tell us what
Okay,
you're
I'm
using.
getting there. I'm getting there. So right. So I just I like the Tombro pen. So here's one, Tombro. Oh, that's up here. But it's the small one. It's not the big one. Look at that tip. So can you see that? So just love that, and just how you can just make a thick line, or you can make a thin line. Sorry, thin line, thick line. I don't know if you can see that. And then you can thin and thick. So I just love this pen. I just feel like I have a lot of control with that. So I use that a lot. The other thing I like is I like the Le Pens. So the Le Pen drawing pens, I like that a lot. And the Pentel, where did I put those? And the Pigma Prismacolor pens. I bought a whole pack of those. So that comes with a chisel point and another brush. So I like those as well. I am also into brown paper right now. So this is my current sketchbook that I'm using. So I have been through many iterations of my sketch notes. I tried a big book. I tried loose leaf paper, thinking I was going to bind them. So that's actually my Bible study that I'm doing right now. And then I just take a white chalk pencil. So that the underline for chapter 1 right there, and filling in the arrows is just a white chalk pencil is all that is. So because I have a bag. So that's the other thing. It's an essential tool is a bag. Is I've got a bag, so I'm ready to go at a moment's notice. It's got my sketchbook in it, all my pens and pencils in it. So when it's time for church, I'm ready to go, because I don't want to be running around going, oh, I can't find anything. So I think a bag is an essential part of sketchnoting. So you've got all your tools at the ready and you're ready to go. I was hauling around markers, and like nobody can sit next to me when I take sermon notes, because my chair is full of tools. So my husband tries to always say, no, you have to sit on the left side. My tools are on the right side, and no one can sit by me. And so but I found I really am enjoying just having a couple of black markers and the white pencil. And it's just a lot less to carry, and it's a lot less to worry about with the brown paper versus having so Victoria also carries a backpack. Yeah. So so I just find that's helped me, and I really like just the pencils. It's just a little less carrying around. It's a little easier to get done, and then it's not like, oh, I have all this coloring to do when I get home, which tends to not happen. So I'm trying to figure out if it's not done by the time the last song's done, it's going to be a while before it gets done. So I try and complete all my highlighting and such during the last song.
So for me, it's through communion, because my church has communion every week. So like when people line up to go do that, then I'm like, okay, put in the finishing touches on.
Right.
So need to know on Sunday morning, there's other people out there. Last song, time to wrap it up.
That's right.
So what is your process like in church? Do you get an outline in your bulletin, or do you just how does your church provide you the information? Do you just get it live from the preacher without notes, or what's that look like?
Well, interesting clarification in that I don't worship at my church. Kind of weird. We have a real small church, and my husband and I started children's worship service during our service. So Randy and I go out to Friday night or Saturday night services. And so we never kind of go to the same church. So I never know what I'm walking into. So it we just sort of wing it. So I try and get there a little early and write the church name down, the date.
Can I just say that's remarkable because that means every week you're getting used to a new person's cadence and a new person's delivery and their
Yes.
style and whoo. Okay.
I know. And some of them are like, I just want to like slow down. I didn't get there. You're going way too fast. And then, some are just like good cadence, and it's like, it really hones your skills. And so I'm really enjoying that. So I try and put just really I know if I know who's going to speak and the place and the date. And after that, I just wing it. If I can get a title, I'll go with it. And I like to write verse references so I can go back and look them up later. And I know a lot of people don't do that. But I like verse references, and so I'm kind of playing around with different styles for verse references. So I'll try and get that, and then I really try and listen for the main theme. But then when I hear like little they came out of the tent, so I'm going to draw a little tent, or I'm going to draw a camel or something. So I like putting little images kind of peppered throughout. So so sometimes they're a little wordy. So I'm really trying working to be less wordy and more visual. But it's especially with the new guys, you don't know what you're walking into. So
Sweet. Does anyone else have questions for Marsha? Please post them. Talking to you, Monica. Talking to you, Bible Doodle Girl. Because I just have to remember that everybody's here because I get so excited just in the conversation. So this is like a note for me, myself, to be like, hey, Raven, invite other people into the conversation. But I'm having fun. So you started talking about practicing and building your visual vocabulary. Can you give us a bit more of what that looks like? Like, how do you get started? How do you choose the first words to start with your visual vocabulary? What is that process like?
Very interesting. Okay. So we didn't talk about what I teach. Teaching. I know. I'm really an artist, and nobody told me that I really shouldn't be an accountant. I'm not wired that way, so nobody told me I couldn't. So that's how I ended up being an accountant, because we just looked around and they always needed accountants. And so great, I'll go to school to be an accountant. That's how I decided to do that. So I have this, so sometimes it infiltrates my art. So I try and draw something every day, just something really simple. And there's like Everyday Matters. There's a drawing group, and they've got a big old long list. And then there's this other book of 642 things to draw. So I've made that, and then just a ton of other things, long list. And then I just randomly pull something and I try and draw it without having to go look. Just anyway. So here's the word was geeky. I don't know. Can you see that? Okay. So there we go. Geeky. So I decided to draw a pocket protector. And then, of course, I can't leave it quite there. I have to go look and know that pocket protectors were patented in 1947. I see probably things you never thought you'd know. I can find a little more about it because I'm sort of a life learner. So anyway, so I just try and pick a random number, draw something on a daily basis. And then my sketchbook that I have, I come home and treat. And so here's another, this is just when I find patterns I like, I just draw them and I keep them in my library. And so just developing a library, and then that way when it's time to go draw and doodle. So this is, and of course my accountingness just makes me put all the lines on the same page, and then, all the half circles on another page like that. So, I'm just, sometimes the accountant just takes over and I can't help myself. So just to help stay organized. But the more ammunition you have, or the more arrows in your quiver, it's just, life's going to be easier for doodling. There's nothing worse than, oh, great, I have to draw this thing or doodle this thing and I have no idea what patterns to put in there. But if you've got a library of patterns, it's just going to be so much easier to just help, then you just kind of look through and go, oh yeah, that pattern will work real well. And then you're not stressing out about what pattern am I going to add to this doodle, or what am I going to fill this area with? And then the more things that you've drawn, the easier things are. So I just am kind of random about how I draw, but I try and do something every day. And like if something sparks my interest, like, oh yeah, there's that tree and that's an unusual leaf, I'll draw that. But a lot of times I'll just go for my list and draw something random and just try and push my limits of learning more about it or trying to draw it from a different angle. So I try to just stretch my visual learning vocabulary muscles.
So when you said a library, do you have a specific notebook that you use as your library or your vocabulary?
Well, it's fallen apart. It's oh my goodness, it's got the green cover books. It's the Rhodia, I think. So
Okay.
it's the sketch notebook, but the cover's fallen off, but I just, just have little tabs so I can add to it. But so this has just sort of been with me. I take it everywhere. If I'm going to go away for the weekend and know I'm going to doodle, it goes with me. So something. So, but I just think any notebook is fine, any blank book. But I also love the new dots. Just really love the dots because it's blank enough you can do whatever you want. But if you want some structure, you've got dots to help you get structure. So just love dot books as well. So
I think we have a request for you to take some pictures of your library.
okay.
And show later on. We were able to see some, but I think just the nature of streaming and the fine lines made it a little hard to read. But I'm like Paul, I want to see more of that. Like,
Okay.
I love the glimpse, I love the teaser.
Right.
But we want more.
All right. Well, hey, I'll even share this thing. Can you see this? I didn't email this.
Yes.
But anyway, so it's just a little flip book, and I'll just try and be slow about it. But it's got back up because I feel like I've missed something huge. And it's like, I think you've got this page, Raven, that says the elements of design.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So this is just how easy doodling is. There's just 7 elements. There's line, zigzag, circles, half circles, S-curve, spirals, and paisleys. And you can make anything out of a combination of those things. And so I like capturing patterns with those. And then I start putting images together. You take a circle and a triangle and you've got the basic makings of a dog or a cat. So, anyway, so if I don't have this digital, but I could make it digital. I could do that. So anyway, if you want to email me or just message me on Facebook, I will send you a copy of my pattern design book. How's that for a deal?
Where will we email you?
Let's see. Oh, you could email. Okay. My email is BlessInks, BlessInks at live.com, LIVE. BlessInks at live.com. And so basically the book has like a whole page of patterns of a half circle, and then there's another whole page for you to add your own patterns. So it's a great way to start your library.
All right. We have a couple more questions, but I just want to make sure we got BlessInks at live.com to get some more resources from Marsha. But she also has the whole website, BlessInks.com as well. So you want to check that out and get on her email list, because on her email list, she also sends out tips and tricks and tools as well. So I don't want to, let me back up a little bit. Alicia had a question. How did you discover visual notes worked best, and how did you evolve your visual note taking?
Great question, Alicia. I just, when I started, well, actually I got the first page of my my very first Sketchnote notebook. Okay, yes, it is the Mayan God. Can you see that? Okay, can you see that? I just decided instead of writing, I was going to draw. And because I hated writing so much, but I wanted to be in the words. So I thought, okay, I'm going to draw. And then, so the story behind the Mayan God was, it was back in 2012, and we were at a homeless lunch. We were trying to feed the homeless people, and this guy was walking around going, "The end of the world is going to come in December 2012," and that was just such a great opportunity to share the gospel with him, and everybody else that was around listening. And so that's why I drew my mind God, and then kind of wrote a really short little paragraph. But I evolved by just practice, because I didn't have a lot of confidence in myself about, oh gosh, what if somebody sees this, or what if somebody's looking over my shoulder and they're just going to laugh at me? And I just decided I'm just going to just get out there, and I find more people are fascinated by watching me draw. Like, wow, gosh, I wish I could do that. And I'm like, oh, really? You absolutely can. So I think practice is the thing that helped me evolve. Is I just try and draw something small every day, not a masterpiece, just a little tiny image, moving on. And then some days, I have more time than I really like to get in, kind of do an entire page or do an entire verse and take some time. So hopefully that helped, but that's what worked for me.
Thank you. We have another question from Victoria before we get to your book. She asks, why don't you let people sit next to you at church? I think this is because one seat is for your supplies and one seat is for your husband.
Yes, that's exactly right. You can sit the chair on the other side, but I need the chair right next to me for my supplies. So I have room to grab different supplies and such. And so that's where I've never let anybody sit next to me.
Oh, and Alicia loved your advice on the practicing and the drawing first. So, woohoo. Okay, so y'all are tapping into this wealth of knowledge that is Marsha Baker. I want to also make sure you know that Marsha has a book that's been out for a while.
I think it came out in 2015.
Yeah, on Sermon Sketchnotes. It's a step-by-step guide. I need to learn my left from my right, my left and right, so I can. There we go. Yay! And Marsha, can you tell us about this? And well, since this came out in 2015, you said?
Yeah.
I'm sure you've got other projects you're working on too, as well. So can you tell us more about just what you want to? It's your choice. Spin the wheel.
Okay, spin the wheel. I'll take an A.
And I'm going to put a link to your book in the chat.
Okay, great. So this book is how to think about sermon sketchnoting, and certainly just it takes the concepts of sketchnoting, but I try and twist it a little bit to kind of think about different layouts given different sermon notes. Like if you had a timeline sermon, then maybe you might want to think about this. So it just kind of gives you more things to think about. Towards the back of the book, like around page 60, I have a lot of little icons to just show you how you might draw wisdom, or how, there we go. There's wisdom and a key to things and a soldier. So just keeping things really simple. So you feel that you've got the confidence that you can also draw. And then there's room to practice in the book as well. So, how easy is practice areas. So for people that are just really like the idea of sermon sketch notes, but are kind of intimidated by it, sort of as a step-by-step, we think about bullets and see faces. And so I am so all about keeping it so simple and easy. Anybody can do it. So that's what that book does. And hopefully, I get a lot of feedback like, oh, this was just a great way to get started. So hopefully it's a good way for you to get anybody to get started. So if you want to help somebody get into sermon sketch notes, it's a great choice, and it's available on Amazon. So,
I need to make me an affiliate link.
There you go. So, other projects I'm working on is I just felt like last year my word was gratitude. Like, Lord, and I guess wow, am I just not being grateful enough? But I just felt like the Lord just said, I just want you to be really focused on gratitude and just all the things you're blessed with. And it just kind of really helped me not be so grumbly. So I have another book called Abundantly Blessed. And it's just a gratitude journal. And it's just a 52-week gratitude journal. So it's got places for you to write your gratitudes, and then a page that just gives you room to doodle. So find to see a place. So there's my joy page. So I'm not doing that. So for right now, that's kind of where I am. And then I've got some other things in the works. I'm working on a alphabet doodle book, verse book. So there's M. So basically, you'll have kind of a blank M, and then some ideas on how to fill in the M, and then you can finish the verse. So it's kind of more coloring with a purpose. It's kind of where we're going. And then my other personal project that I'm working on is just doodling the Bible. Is just kind of taking verse by verse, and if there's an image there, just kind of coming up with an image. So kind of an icon library of the Bible. This probably going to take me the rest of my life to get going, but to get to. But so that's what's very interesting to me right now in my personal project in my quiet time is what I'm working on. So.
Sweet.
So those are my upcoming projects, and so if don't have anything to do and I got a spare minute, I'm doodling. Is what I do. It's just that's my passion.
Yes. I need some of your momentum. Get some things done. Yeah, we're going to crank it out.
St. Louis. You need to come to St. Louis, and we just need to have like a sermon sketch note doodle party, and we should just invite people we know, and we should just do that. I'll give you some. I'll inspire you, and we'll get going.
Let's see. We've got another message from Bible Doodle Girl. She's ready to stock her backpack here. She's
right now. All I carry is my brown paper book and 2 pens and a white. Let's see, 3 pens. This is it. So my white chalk pencil. I actually carry a black Uniball and then a brush pen. That's it for now. I used to carry a pack of markers and I take that back. I also carry just a regular pencil in case I run into something. It's like, okay, I'll draw that later, so I can just make myself a little note. So I do carry just a regular pencil, but minimal supplies. So I'm ready to go in a moment's notice. Somebody says, let's go to church, and I'm like, I'm ready to go. So.
Sweet. I don't know what's wrong with my lighting over here. Paul's all about the momentum too. I think Paul and I were kind of accountability buddies in the verbal to visual group for a minute.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Which I just joined verbal to visual, by the way. So just checking out all that out because I'm just fascinated with visual learning, and I'm also gonna go explore Muddy's the Doodle Institute. So I think those are very good resources to just kind of help expand our visual library and our visual vocabulary. So, but yeah, gotta have momentum. I think you just need kind of a direction to go, just something that you want to accomplish, a series of something, so, okay, the Bible, sure. I'll doodle the Bible. Probably going to be 90 when I'm done, but I'll give it a shot. So it's but I just think if I can just post some of my images, people can see like, oh, this is not intimidating. You can just really simple things that we can do to feel, to understand what we've just drawn, because the process of drawing actually helps us comprehend what we're hearing, seeing, reading. So drawing and doodling are not bad words.
Have you seen any or looked at Pastor Gary Lau's Bible Sketchnotes?
I have seen a bit, and I would like to. That is one of his. I have not watched that interview, but he is so on my list because yes, I've seen like at that restaurant sketch the whole Bible out. I like, okay, he's a man after my own heart, and I would like to know him and understand what he does and follow him. Absolutely.
I think he has a website. I don't know if it's Bible Sketchnote or BibleSketchnotes.com.
Okay.
And I think y'all have kind of parallel projects of sketching through the Bible.
Yeah.
So cool. And I just love your I don't know if tagline's the right word, of drawing people closer to God.
Yeah, that's just sort of, and that comes from the verse, draw near to God and he'll draw near to you. But it's just like, it's kind of a little play on words, but it's really true. It's really what I want. I want to inspire people to just get closer to the Lord and just walk closer. And I just think there's a ton of people out there that visually can connect that haven't connected before. I live in a house with, I have 3 sons and they're all engineers and my husband's an engineer. And so as I'm working on this project, my husband is looking at me like, you are so wasting your time, but he just wants it, right? And he's like, I don't know, who in the world is going to just do this? Nobody's going to do this. And he, I could see it on his face and he's just trying to be supportive, but not saying anything. And then I come back from this conference and it's like, I've sold out. He's like, oh, okay. So it's made him really rethink that, wow, maybe there's something to being visual. So I don't think it'll ever work for him. And definitely there are people that just flat out get up and leave in the middle of my workshops going, this is very interesting. Thank you. But I'm going to go now, which is fine. Because there's people that aren't wired that way. But there's a ton of us that aren't where we want to be with our relationship with the Lord. And I just think visually just getting plugged in, it rocked my world. And I just think that it might rock yours if that's not where you're, if you're not where you want to be, give it a try. So.
Sweet. Yeah, I totally agree with you that God speaks all the love languages.
Yes.
So it's not for everybody, but I love in our group that we found a tribe that it is for all of us, and that it's co-ed as well, that we have males in here as well that are gifted in all of this and expressive in that way and showing, and it's not just a ladies group.
Right.
Nothing against us ladies, because we have fun too.
That's right.
All right. Before we go, because we got to let the accounting teacher go about her business. If you have any other questions, please post them in the group. And if you are watching this as a replay, know that Marsha is really active in the group. So if you have any specific questions for her, you can post them in the group and just tag her, or go to BlessInks.com, go to follow her blog. She just did an email series on sketchnoting, because I know, as with any group or online thing, there's people out here that are tuning into everything and not commenting and just being a wallflower, and that's fine, but there are places built for you to jump in, and Marsha's one of them.
Great. I'm actually not done with my series yet. I'll have another post tomorrow, so I do it every week, but sometimes life gets to vote and I don't quite make them every week, but there'll be another one tomorrow. I forget what the topic is, but anyway, tune in. There'll be another how-to tomorrow. So.
Sweet. And are you going to be in the verbal to visual workshop tomorrow? I don't know if that works for you.
I don't know, because my son's coming in, so I'm not sure. What time's the workshop?
It's at 3 Eastern.
3 Eastern. Maybe I might be able to do that. So that would be great.
Come join Paul and I, Chaplain Paul from Australia, and it looks like we've almost recruited Bible Doodle Girl from Texas to join in as well.
Absolutely. She needs to join us. Absolutely.
All right. Well, do you have any parting words for everyone? You highlighted a few of your projects. Oh, we got to make sure that we're all following you on Instagram at BlessInks to see all of her images. Where else can we find you online?
Facebook at BlessInks as well. And I have a Twitter account, but I hardly ever do much with Twitter. So my blog is the best place, BlessInks.com, to find the latest updates. And if you join my email list, I try and send people on my email list cool stuff that other people don't get. So I just so appreciate everybody's comments and their support. So I do like a monthly calendar, and there's a whole page of just that I give my email people as a link that nobody else gets. So try and do that. But so I would just say, if you haven't drawn anything today, pick up your pencil and draw. Draw something simple. Just practice. And I think that's the way to get better, and that's the way to have confidence. And it's just the way, draw closer to God, and He will draw closer to you.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Dang it. See, this is why I was going to write stuff down because you just said something that was really cool and then I lost it. Oh, your workshops. Do you have any workshops coming up?
This point, I do not. I've got some possibly in the works, but I don't have anything confirmed. And so I don't have anything yet, but I'm available. So call me.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. And maybe we can get you to do one online in the group.
absolutely. I would love to do that. That would be so
Because
fun.
we haven't started that yet, but so I need to like message you and Bible Doodle Girl because she's expressed interest in helping teach inside of the group as well. So,
Oh, I would love to do that.
all right. Sweet. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you. Oh, Monica's already following you. So Monica's getting the stuff. Everybody that's not on the list is getting. Monica is in the know.
Awesome. Thank you, Monica, so much.
Well, thank you, Marsha, for your time, and I look forward to seeing you more in the group.
Absolutely.
And I thank you for just all the effort you're putting into not just learning for yourself, but teaching others to learn that way and being really active about drawing people closer to Christ. Because
So,
sometimes we just do the pictures, but you're helping walk people through that path, and that's awesome too.
right. Well, thank you. And thank you so much for this. This has been an awesome experience. So much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.